much, Krista. So yes, just waiting for Fuzzy, hoping he's on his way. He should be. He's going to be giving us a news update in a little while. And Princess Vanessa, what do you want with me? So I'm just going to hang on a few more minutes, which mightn't be a bad idea. Might be some more people arriving who are late or something. But if not, it looks like it's going to be a quiet show. But hey, nice and cozy, intimate affair. Why not? And even Krista's here, so even more intimate. So that's good. Good evening, everybody. Yes, good evening, Dan. Good to see you guys. I'll run through what we're doing on the show in a moment. As I say, I'm just trying to get Fuzzy is on his way, hopefully, and we'll get started. So I'll be back with you in just a moment.
I shall play a small Dire Straits tune to way to.
Krista, you need to be filling the silence with something. Yes, run your mouth.
You get a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime, sound of the river, you stop and you hold everything. A band is blowing Dixie, double fall time. You feel alright when you hear the music ring. Well, now you step inside, but you don't see too many faces. Coming in out of the rain, they hear the jazz go down. Competition in other places, but the horns, they blowing that sound. Way on down south, way on down south, London town. Check out Guitar George, he knows all the chords. But it's strictly rhythm, he doesn't want to make it cry or sing. If that an old guitar is all he can afford, When he gets up under the lights, play his thing. Then Harry doesn't mind if he doesn't make the scene. He's got a daytime job, he's doing alright. He can play the honky-tonk like anything, saving it up Friday night with the Sultans, with the Sultans of Swing. And a crowd of young boys, they're fooling around in the corner, drunk and dressed in their best brown baggies in their platform soul. They don't give a damn about any trumpet playing band. It ain't what they call rock and roll. And the Sultans, yeah, the Sultans that play Creole. Creole.
Oh, that was perfect timing, Savo. I was just about to ask you to stop. And I see that one of our guests has finally arrived. I'm hoping everything's all right with his mic. I will just do a quick check. Fuzzy, are you there?
I'm here to go and ready to go.
Oh, can just about hear you, Fuzzy. Is there something problem with your mic?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, all right. Right, I shall begin. Thanks for coming, by the way, Fuzzy. I know you're busy, so I'll get straight on with stuff. Guys, thank you for coming to the fourth Whaleshares Blue Report show. A little bit quieter tonight. Interesting. As I say, a bit more of a cozier affair, but it'll probably get a bit busier later on. But thank you anyway to those who have turned up. It's going to be a nice show tonight. I'm going to start off in a moment by handing over to Fuzzy. He's going to give us a news and information update on Whaleshares and maybe even EasyDex. So I'll hand over to him in just a moment. Good to have him here, though. Then I'm going to move on to Chief Mapster's segment, his coffee and crypto segment, and I just want to say something about that, because what Chief Mapster is doing is he's not just picking random areas of the crypto world to focus on. He's selecting certain communities and certain tokens in the crypto sphere that we in the Whaleshares community can learn from. So he's looking at other tokens and cryptocurrencies, and seeing how they can inform us. So there is a wider Whaleshares context going on there, and I don't know about you guys. I've learned tons from Chief Mapster. I thought he was just another music man, but he's not. He's a very knowledgeable guy on the crypto sphere. So his segments are proving really informative, and I hope you guys are getting something from them as well. I think they're great. Okay, then after Coffee and Crypto with Chief Mapster, we're going to move on to my guest tonight, and that is BlackLibertario. His steam name is Black Liberal, but he's not really that liberal. In fact, he's probably the most political correct 20-year-old I've ever met in my entire life. He's an interesting guy, very intelligent guy for 20-year-old, and he's a nice guy as well. He's got a lot of stuff going on, and it'd be good to have a talk with him. He lives in Venezuela, and as many of us know, there's quite a bit of instability in Venezuela at the moment. So we'll have a chat about that as well, and we'll get to know him a bit more, and also how he found Whaleshares and what he think, and more about his relationship with Whaleshares as well. So we're going to talk to BlackLibertario as the guest of honor for this week's show. And then, of course, I shall move on to the cruel curation segment, as people like to call it. It is, of course, the community curation segment, where I ask people, I just pick on a few people and tell them to present a post. It's nothing serious. And then I get you guys to rate that post, percentage, grades. This week I'm going to do stars, and so 1 to 5, and whoever gets the most stars out of all of you gets 20 whale shares. So just a bit of fun at the end there, nothing serious. But I didn't know whether I was going to keep that segment, but yeah, exactly, Fuzz. It's caused a bit of I don't know. I suppose casual friction. It's nothing too serious, but it's fun. I do enjoy it. I didn't know whether I was going to keep it or not, but I'm definitely going to keep it because it's me being a little bit mean with the curation instead of it all being nice and cozy and saying everything's great. It's me and everybody else actually being a bit harsher. But hey, we want to get to the truth of the matter, and I think I achieve a bit of that with that segment. So that's what's coming up tonight, guys. Hope you're going to enjoy the show. And don't forget, for everybody who comes here tonight, what do we do? It's EasyDex tokens tonight, so everybody's going to get a few EasyDex tokens. So I will ask for your BitShares username towards the end of the show. But with that said, I think I'm going to hand over to Fuzzy now, who's going to give us a news update on what's been happening in Whaleshares in the last week. Fuzzy, over to you, dude.
Yeah, guys. Just wanted to say that we have the team that is actually working on making sure that the front end is nice and running. They're continually working on that. They're providing. We had some hiccups, but we're getting over some things that are problems with Steam. As you guys can understand, there's times when there are problems on Steam that don't always make sense, and they need fixed, and they never got fixed. So some of those things are getting fixed, and we're working on that stuff to make sure that the front end is easier to work with, also easier for other people to build things with, and that's the direction that we're trying to move in. So this week we had some updates as far as them getting closer to where they need to be on that front. Things are looking good on that. The team's coming together pretty well on it. And now we're just really going to be focusing on some of the other details, like some of them, for instance, the whale coins. We're already starting to, there are some people who've been here for a long time and have been doing a lot for the community and have earned whale shares, and others who have bought them. But many people who have a lot of whale shares are creating their own whale tokens, and in preparation for when we do launch. And that's something that we're getting in the mode. And I'm telling everybody who's got some tokens, some whale tokens, or enough stake to become a whale in the ecosystem, or even a dolphin for honest, like, to be honest, anybody could really make their own coin, because it's going to be not only rewarding people but sharing content to their feed, right? So just so you guys all know, there are going to be people who are going to be passing out tokens more and more. I think you're even going to see people like Freedom Exists here passing out tokens of his own. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to give the people who've been helping to reward the community and help keep it up and running the ability to make tokens like the ones that made all of this possible. Because I feel like as I prepare to step back and let the community take more and more and more control of all that stuff, and the developers and all that stuff to become more decentralized as more people come into the community, and as you guys bring more people to the community, it's going to need to be something where there are people who understood why this culture was built up, why we built the things that we have, and why we use them, right? And the best people to do that are the ones who've helped it along and sacrificed for quite a bit for it during the hard times. So you're going to be seeing, I know Crazy Krista made a coin. I know Enritco, who is, I know everybody knows probably Crazy. Enritco is going to have a coin, and he does art. Like he's a professional artist. You guys probably see him on Steam and Whaleshares as well. But these are the types of things that we're going to be doing. PowerPix is going to be having various coins. These are the things that we're going to be going into the direction of, because I want to make it more and more so you guys can reward one another and utilize these coins and be utilizing them when the chain gets ready to actually launch, right? So that's pretty much the update right now, is that we've made some more coins. We're getting ready for them to start passing them out. So you'll start seeing them starting to pass their coins out in addition to the other coins. And we're growing in that way. So I'm happy to see how everything's going, and we have another mass chain that looks like it's going to be coming around, that's going to connect up with EOS, and we're going to be able to leverage Whaleshares there too. Because of MASDAX. So we've got a lot of really good things coming, and we've got a community here who actually understands this stuff and has been here and has like a year head start on every other community, because all of you guys are the only ones who've really ever used a blockchain use case like this. And you guys have been using it for a year, right? Not in addition to the Whaleshares. So yeah, things are looking good. And I look forward to giving more updates in the future.
Well, thank you for that, Fuzzy. It's great because, like you've just outlined, we are going to be seeing new whales created on the new chain, and with that, there's going to be a kind of a load of new tokens coming onto the scene that people can use to help them. A lot of these tokens will be curation tokens, won't they? Just like Whaleshares and Beyond Bits, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're going to open source the Whaleshares code base. Not too long after the chain is up and running. It's going to be after it's all stable and everything else is running. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to be maintaining and dealing with catching up an entire community on that stuff while doing the initial stuff. But once that gets open sourced, I feel like you're going to probably see a lot of people make new tokens that offer even different things within the ecosystem. I don't know what they are yet, but when it's open sourced, yep, exactly. Now, the way that I've looked at it, though, obviously, was I didn't want to give all this stuff away until we had a chain of our own. I think it's for fair reasons, personally. But I hope that you guys will agree. And even if you don't, I hope you guys will do the best that you can with it. Because I think once we do open source it, it's going to be one of those things where you guys are the best people to leverage it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, gosh, the excitement building around that and the desire to get going is building every day for sure. But yeah, nice. Well, that's great to hear. And just to say, actually, next week I'm going to be playing a recorded interview with Vitko Lenski, or Vit as he's known. He's one of the front end developers for Whaleshares, so that's going to be nice. He's going to give us a real insight, really, to what it's like to be building a whole new chain. So he's going to be our guest next week. But as I say, I think that's going to be. A lot of us don't really know the technical side of this stuff. You know, you do obviously, but we don't. So it's nice to get this type of insight. So I think Vit will give us that insight. You know.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who I like to talk to about like some of the deeper things, because he's more technical, right? He's one of the guys who's actually interacting with it on the code level. So I'm hesitant to ever give like really high, like really low level technical stuff that I'm not 100% certain about, right? But those guys always teach me the different things that I need to know if I didn't already understand it. So I think he'll be a very good person to bring on and ask some of the other questions, you know, some of the deeper questions.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to get him on the show, but it's just too late for him, so it will be a pre-recorded interview. But you know, that's going to be something, and I think that, as I say, that'll give us a nice, deeper understanding of coding and building and development. So looking forward to that. But okay, Fuzzy. Well, thanks for that update. Anything else you want to say?
No, just thank you to everybody. And I want to let you guys all know that whenever we have other projects in this space, I want you guys to realize everybody who's a tribal person in crypto is setting themselves up for some harder times, I believe. Because here's kind of like a hint, to me anyway, and something that I've learned is that if you can get into multiple different cryptocurrencies and hold on to them and earn them, you should. Just because even though if you love your one cryptocurrency, maybe your one cryptocurrency you love has a hard time, and your other one that you don't like so much is having a good time. You can leverage that to help the one that you love, right? So the reason I bring this up is diversification, yes, is nice. It's a smart idea, in my opinion, because of what we're doing, because we are riding a wave, right? At all times, we're riding a wave. And because of that, it's a volatile scene, and a lot of things can change in a moment's notice. So what I will say to you guys is let Whaleshares be your home, but don't be afraid to use things like MASDAQs so you earn on all the different platforms that come out. Whether you want to keep tokens in those platforms is up to you. But one of the things that we want to continue reminding people is that we're building these tools and we will be improving them over time, but we're building them ASAP to get you guys tools so you can start leveraging that to start earning on other chains, right? And when you start being able to make money on different chains, and you can make that in a way that it's maximizing the value that you produce being returned back to you, that return on investment for your time, then you're thinking, I think, in the most intelligent capacity that you could. So
well, this is just to jump in. Sorry, first. This is what Chief Mapster actually mentioned and highlighted in last week's Coffee and Crypto session. He said, cross-community participation is going to be really important. And even when the new Whaleshares chain launches, it's going to be, really important at that stage as well.
Yep, Voltron. Just remember that, guys. Voltron. And all these little banners that everybody wants to carry, we're eventually going to need to all collect them into an army and attack the horrible squid on the face of planet Earth. So we can all work together, I think.
Awesome. All right. Good stuff there. Okay, Fuzzy. Anything else at all?
Well, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Fuzzy, for coming on the show. You've pleased a lot of people with your voice. A lot of people seem to like your voice, Fuzzy. Do you know that?
A lot of people seem to like your accent. I like your accent.
Well, thank you.
These accents, man, but your accent, maybe it's everybody from your country, but man, it's a hell of an accent.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But I was just looking at a few of the comments in the chat. I think Woodsy said you can read him the phone book if you want to. He likes your voice that much.
Wow. Well, maybe I will start up a phone operation someday. No.
Yeah, give that a go. Let us know how that one goes. Okay.
Yeah, it'll obviously be powered by a cryptocurrency.
Of course.
Graspy voice. Yeah, I like that, Dan. That's exactly what I think it is too. But thank you guys very much for making me laugh.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Graspy voice token anyway. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks for that, Fuzzy. Good update there. So much appreciated. Right, guys, I'm going to move on. And up next, of course, it is Chief Mapster with his Coffee and Crypto session. So I'm going to hand over to the Chief. Now, Chief, are you?
Yes, I am, buddy. How's it going?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Doing great, and I love following up after Fuzzy. I don't have the best voice in the world like you two do, but I'll try to do my part.
Oh, you've got a fine voice, Chief. Don't worry about that. Nice and fluid.
Thank you, sir. But yeah, I guess I'll get started on the two different tokens that I guess we can learn a lot about with community and integration, because those two things, community and integration, are really things that can help a blockchain and cryptocurrency succeed in the short term and in the long term. So two different ones that I noticed right off the bat, and that's why I've been choosing these different cryptos, is because you can tie it into Whaleshares and tie it into EasyDex, and we can learn from them. And some of the things we're doing great right now. But the two that I'm going to talk about today that really did pretty well in my eyes with community and integration is Ethereum and Monero. Ethereum is ETH, and then Monero is XMR. But I'll go through just kind of the highlights of both of them, and kind of what they did well with integration and community, and kind of how it relates to Whaleshares and what things we can learn from them, and maybe some of the things that we're actually doing right now that are right up their alleys. So the first one, Ethereum, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like the second biggest cryptocurrency and blockchain environment in terms of money and market cap, but it's the largest dApp environment. It combines cryptocurrency and a blockchain-based programming language for creating computer programs, and that's called smart contracts. And it all runs on the blockchain. It runs on the Ethereum blockchain. So transactions require a little bit of gas, which is another different part of the Ethereum blockchain. So transactions require something called gas. But right now, it's really well known for bringing people with ICOs and different dApps on their environment. Different environments such as EOS, Ven, a lot of different cryptocurrency, Tron. They have their ICOs on Ethereum to raise money for their projects. And because of that, they kind of grow Ethereum as well, because they're influencing their marketing. They're selling Ethereum because they are raising money in Ethereum and on the Ethereum platform. So they're obviously in their best interest to help Ethereum grow as well. The one thing that Ethereum did well right off the bat is they have the ERC20 standard, which is just a technical standard. Won't go too deep into that, but basically it's just a standard which the tokens are representative. And a lot of these, like I said, a lot of them tokens are built on Ethereum network to raise funds, and then they go onto their own networks, such as EOS, and then Tron just got released their network as well. But what I really learned from them is the community really developed because it's tied to Ethereum, because of the ICOs and the projects that are developed on the network. They have different dApps, a lot of different dApps, and a lot of autonomous organizations that are built on Ethereum network and around the Ethereum network. So they are using this common thread to grow their projects, and obviously the common thread will grow as a result. The one thing that I really learned from it, and what we can learn from it, is how they did the integration. They're integrated with so many different projects, and they really harped on having ICO's fundraising platform, which is something that we can definitely learn from, and they basically allow people to build projects and communities off of it. So what can we do to learn from that? Another thing before I go on to that, it started off as proof of work, and then now they're trying to transitioning with this thing called Casper. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Casper. You can look it up, more of the technicals, but they're trying to go towards a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake network to try to compete with the scalability of these new blockchain platforms such as EOS and even Steam. So it's interesting that they are trying to transition into more of a proof of stake, where some of these cryptocurrencies like delegated proof of stake have really taken off. So they're definitely kind of learning from scalability issues right now. But the one thing a couple different things we can learn is kind of apply these different things, the integration in the community that Ethereum did to be successful. And because they are very successful, their second market cap is over $52 billion. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that is used to build projects and to fund projects, and it's to fund community. So we can obviously learn something from them, and also there's the popularity of it as well. We can learn from them. And what can we learn from them? The first thing is integrate EasyDex and Whaleshares with some kind of functionality that can be used across other platforms. And one thing that I noticed right now is the EasyDex is going to be integrated with Whaleshares, and that will give everybody a quick fiat off ramp and on ramp into their bank accounts. So that's one functionality right now that we'll be able to put our hat on and tell people about it. That's different than a lot of different projects. People are looking to get on ramp and off ramp into fiat quickly.
Just to jump in a moment, Chief.
Yeah.
I've used the EasyDex bridge that you were talking about, the ramp there, the fiat ramp, and it went straight into my bank account, and it was there literally within 24 hours.
And that's incredible, because sometimes it takes almost a week and even multiple days, and the fees are high. So it seems like one thing that we can really hang our hat on is this functionality that people don't have. It's the fiat on ramp that's pretty close. And another thing is that the one thing I can think that Whaleshares can be used for is for a kind of a donating platform. How Ethereum used for fundraising projects. I think with the ability to create different whale tokens for different community projects, we can use these whale tokens to raise funds for donations for different projects, community organizations, instead of maybe business-wise, but more for donation-wise. So I think by highlighting this and making it a functionality where you can use these whale tokens as for donations is a huge thing. Everybody knows these crowdsourcing donation sites are getting huge, bigger and bigger, and more projects are using them. Why can't we harness the power of cryptocurrency and the Whaleshares blockchain to do something very similar? So I think that's one thing that we can, as a Whaleshares community, can focus on to really help us grow for the short term and the long term when the platform comes out. And the thing that's very similar to Ethereum, how they did the ERC-20 tokens for all these different projects, is that, like Fuzzy said, you can create a lot of different whale coins on the Whaleshares platform. So that means that people, all different types of people all over the world, all different projects and communities all over the world can use the power of Whaleshares to create their own token and to kind of market it and to get use cases for it. That's really not something that's a lot of different places. So that's one thing that we can really use on the Whaleshare, market it. We need to market that. We need to make sure people are aware of that in the mainstream and people in crypto, that you can do that on this new chain. You can create your own whale token and use it on the Whaleshares network to help get publicity for your tokens, to help pay people, to help donations, raise money, and to just kind of use different use cases, run contests, different use cases for communities. So it's something that I think we're doing something similar to what Ethereum did with the ERC-20 tokens with these whale tokens. And I think the integration of something, we need a functionality, because right now, that's what Ethereum uses is their functionality to raise funds for ICOs. We need to focus on some kind of functionality that Whaleshares has that isn't seen anywhere else. And right now, that's one of them is the fiat off ramp and on ramp. So I really think that's something that we can focus on. So I'm going to drink some coffee. Do you have any questions before I switch over to Monero, my friend?
Yeah, because I'm interested in this correlation or this example that you're using with Ethereum, because it seems to have been a massive, huge, successful blockchain. But I've never been personally involved in it, so I don't know that much about it. But you're clearly seeing, you're using it as a kind of precedent that where we can learn from Ethereum. If I was to put you on the spot, and if you could just whittle down one, what would be the biggest thing that we could learn in Whaleshares from Ethereum?
Is to integrate with as many projects and communities as possible, and self-align those incentives and interests with theirs, so that their self-interest is aligned with our self-interest. So I think because of that, that's why Ethereum was going up, is because these projects want Ethereum to succeed because they raised their money and their projects are on Ethereum. So if we can have different projects, different communities, different people build whale tokens on the Whaleshares chain, then it's going to be in their best interest for them that the Whaleshares chain succeeds. So obviously they're going to become help grow the message, become ambassadors for the blockchain, and help grow with the Whaleshares. So I think that's one thing right off the bat we can do, and I think with Walrus and Fuzzy and everybody building that functionality right off the bat, that is huge. So I'm excited to see the different use cases of these tokens And I think that people be able to create their tokens on Whaleshares and use it on Whaleshares will really help people be incentivized to help the Whaleshares.
So, yeah, well, this is it. So you're really talking about the diversification of Whaleshares, aren't you?
Yes, I think it's going to be great because I think the more and more people, because like you said, this is a home, but there's going to be people all over the world, all different projects, all different backgrounds, all different motives. They're going to come. We want them to come here, and we want them to interact with us. And one way to do that is to tie them to the chain somehow. And one way to tie to the blockchain is having their own tokens on the Whaleshares. So I think that's a great thing they built from the beginning, and I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That really will help to diversify the platform for sure, no doubt about it. But yes, I mean, it goes back again to what you said last week in many ways, and what Fuzzy was just talking about, getting involved in different projects and other communities, and making sure that Whaleshares is really interactive with other communities and tokens.
Absolutely. We need to be the glue. We need to be the place where everybody is linked through. It's kind of like, you have those friends in your life that are facilitators that everybody knows, but they're the glue that brings everybody together. We want Whaleshares to be that glue. And whether it be people that are been in crypto their whole lives since the beginning, or newcomers, because I think that's something that Whaleshares does well, is we have a vast variety of people from, seasoned veterans in the crypto space to newbies. And because of that, we have different use cases for the blockchain, and we have different people involved. And so I really think that's one of the greatest things about it is we're not too specific. We have a wide variety and a wide target market we appeal to.
Absolutely. And I also think that's reflected in the membership of the community. Very, very broad range and diverse range of people, don't we?
I agree, and I think it's one of the reasons why people, come here and find a home, because they find some people that they relate to, and then some people they can learn from as well. So it's kind of cool to see how it's grown since the beginning, since last year or so, and I think it's going to keep growing more and more as the Whaleshares chain comes out and all these different changes and different integrations come out.
Oh, indeed, absolutely. Okay, what else have you got for us, Chief?
I just want to talk a little bit about Monero and how they kind of did some things well, and then what we can learn from it. Because Monero is best known for being the privacy crypto. It's roughly about $122 right now. It's ranked number, let's see, I think number 14. Yeah, number 14 in the top 100 of cryptocurrencies. Market capitalization, roughly about 1.9 billion. And what it does very well is it's a privacy chain. So what that means is that it does not reveal the parties sending or the amount of transactions when they're sending money between. So you don't know who's sending money to who, and you don't know how much. To do this, they use cryptography, different measures such as stealth addresses, ring signatures, and ring confidential transactions. That way, the combination of those three things help make sure that you have anonymous and private transactions completely. And there, sometimes there new things come out where they have to figure things out. But the one thing they have is they have a big community of over 240 contributors that help. If there's a problem, they fix it. So they're really focused on one thing and doing one thing well, and that's privacy, and that's being the privacy community and be able to send stuff anonymously. It's a crypto night proof of work cryptocurrency. What that means is it allows more people to mine it. They decided in the early days that to do this because they wanted to be more, widely known, and also allow more people to become involved in the community. So anybody with a CPU can mine this cryptocurrency. It's not restricted as much as some other ones are. And what it's interesting that it grew substantially when they started integrating into websites. And that's one thing I think we can learn from Whaleshares. I wouldn't say it's easier to mine because anybody with a miner or a computer can do it. They have came out with specific mining software, mining hardware for Monero, but anybody with a computer can mine Monero, which really helps it. But it's not cheaper than other proof of work coins for transactions. That's one thing that's kind of it's known for being anonymous. So it's Bitcoin fees are less than Monero, but there's certain reasons why. But it's more if you want to make sure no one tracks your trades or track your transactions and to remain anonymous. Because sometimes some people have businesses that they don't want to know who's sending money to, like whether it be suppliers or other businesses or individuals. One thing is a drug dealer, but other things are also people who are trying to avoid taxes, or if big, such as like some people want to remain private. Some businesses don't want other businesses to know what suppliers they interact with, or other people they interact with, or other programmers. So they don't want that those transactions to be out there. But it's more than just deep web. But the deep web is where it really got its big start. The price was pretty low, and then it started integrating into different websites. And that's one thing that I think Whaleshares can learn from them, is to integrate with as many websites as possible. And I think that's what we're doing. We have the Smoke network that Whaleshares is going to be, you can use the whale coins with. The EasyDex will be integrated with Smoke. And so it's things like that, different websites have easy integration with Whaleshares that I think will really can boost the awareness of it and growth of the of the community. It's one thing.
So if I could just say, Chief, then what at the moment what type of websites would you like to see that are out there at the moment with Whaleshares interacting with?
One of them, I think, there are sites such as like Slashdot. I don't know if you've heard of Slashdot. It's kind of a website that has different news articles, and people comment on them, and people write different news articles and kind of relay information. Because I think these whale tokens can be used to give out different rewards. But I also think sites like Fiverr, if you heard of Fiverr, where you can get logos, business stuff done with business art for $5. You might be able to give out whale tokens, such as how Fuzzy gives out Beyond Bits and Whaleshares for people doing work. So I think a mixture of websites such as, like I said, websites that you have for services and goods exchange, you can use this. I would say more for services, for people spending time to do stuff. And that's right off the bat, those are the ones I think of. But we need to get in front of the people that are using it. And we need Etsy. Yeah, Etsy would be nice. But the one thing about physical goods is people have a finite, they know how much they put into it. So, when you put in your time, people are more willing to accept cryptocurrency for that time. That's why all these developers and people who do community events, they put in their time and they get paid in Beyond Bits or Whaleshares, and they're more likely to do that. But Etsy would be great. Yeah, for better. I agree. I think it would be a great idea. But sites like that, where the sites already have a good amount of traffic, and if they're introduced to a Whaleshares token or one of these whale tokens, that will get huge credibility and huge awareness for the projects, for the Whaleshare projects. So that's one thing I learned, I think, that from Monero when they integrated into Alphabay and different websites, that really boosted their community like crazy. So I think something that, like we talk about, maybe even donation sites as well, something that these websites that really can get awareness for Whaleshares token. Let's see. Another thing that I think that Fuzzy talked about today that I think really helped Monero grow is because Monero is open source. They have a vast amount of community contributors, over 240 people that contribute, and that's a pretty good amount when you talk about in terms of development teams. And because of that, they can grow faster. They have more in-depth projects. They have more projects to get awareness, and they can fix problems faster. Because of this, the service level stays high, and more people know about this. Yeah, exactly. But the one thing that they have is they have a common interest, a common goal in privacy and being anonymous. So that's why their forks are different. That's why when one of these companies came out with the ASEC miner just for Monero, they decided to fork it so that this miner could not work. So the community is kind of stuck together because of their main goal, which is privacy and anonymity. So I think that's one thing that with the Whaleshares community, what is that common goal? I think a lot of people are here to help people and to kind of figure out how this cryptocurrency plays out in their lives. But I think there's something that we need to kind of figure out as well, what brings all of us together, and focus on that, because it really will help us grow as a community as well, and help us market to other people so that they can join as well. That's why I think we put the people in crypto. I don't know if it's a good tagline or anything like that, but I think this is more the human side of cryptocurrency, is this Whaleshares community. So I think that's something that maybe we can focus on and really market to other people, because I know people want to be in this community. They just might not know about it. So I really think
this is it, Chief. I mean, I was always struck right from the beginning when I joined the Whaleshares community, how it had such a strong sense of community, and it just continues to build on that. And that in itself is a really marketable feature.
I agree. And because a lot of people, as wild as it sounds, a lot of people are lonely in this world, and a lot of people we're social creatures. We need we need interaction, and one way to do that is to find like-minded souls and another form of family and friends. And this is one of the ways we can do it. We are obviously, this community is very helpful. We have very humans, people from all over the world, different interests. So I think once people realize what kind of community it is, and that this could be their home, away from home, that I think it will grow like crazy. And one of those ways that we're going to get more awareness is that Whaleshares chain. One of the major threats, they figured out, Monero right now, the biggest thing they figured out lately was that people could, it's called like a mixer, I guess. All these transactions are mixed together, so that no one really knows what transaction or what users are in the actual transactions. But some of these, like MIT and some other people, have figured out a way to kind of guess to see which people in the mixer are actually sending the transactions and what the actual transaction amount is. So that's one threat that came up recently, is that people could kind of guess the amount and the usernames of the people that are sending the transactions. So because of that, their community came together and came out with a solution. Will it be the long-term solution? I guess time will only tell. But it solved the short-term solution with the mixer, which is nice, because we don't want people, if it's a privacy token, you really want to make sure it's a privacy token. Building off that is, because Fuzzy said that he's going to bring it open source, make the code open source. I think that's another great way that we can expand Whaleshares and what they do with it. Because Monero has their code open source, and because of that, they have a lot of privacy-related projects tied to Monero, that because they have the open source code. So making the code open source will help more developers get on board and to use the code to build projects and to tie back to the Whaleshares chain. So I really think that's something that is great to hear Fuzzy say that. I understand why he wouldn't do it right off the bat, but it's really great to hear that they're gonna make it open source down the road, because that will lead more developers to use this platform as a way to build their communities, build their projects off of. Because if we can have 240 talented individuals, developers building projects off of the Whaleshares code, I think we would be greatly appreciated. Yes, it is. That's one of the biggest things. It is. Monero is fungible. If that's one way to say it. It basically means that every Monero can be substituted for the other Monero. Meaning, because sometimes in Bitcoin, it's like even with Dash and Verge, when they got hacked, some of the hack coins aren't worth as much as the regular coins. People lose money on that. But with Monero, every Monero can be substituted for other Monero, and they're the same value. So if you hold Monero in your account, it's worth. You don't have to worry about it being devalued because it was stolen from someone, or if it was used in a different transaction. Every one Monero is fungible, and it's one of the few currencies that actually do that. And that's one of the highlights that I have written down as well, that really brings people to that. Because I know even with Monero being used how it is, people want to make sure that when they have Monero in their wallet, it'll be worth something. It'll be worth the same amount that they got it for. So that's one thing. It definitely is fungible. But, yeah, and I think that's touching the base of what I want to talk about: community and integration with regards to Monero. If you have any questions, that'd be awesome.
Well, I think you've answered lots of questions. But, no, I think you've covered most angles. Certainly a lot of food for thought there, that's for sure. I mean, it does go back to this interaction and cross-participation and trying to get Whaleshares, interacting with different services, tokens, communities, and as you just outlined, websites as well. I mean, I hadn't really given that one myself too much consideration, but these things all make sense, absolutely. And what you said there, I mean, to have Whaleshares as open source and for people to be building off Whaleshares, I mean, it's just... It's kind of, when you think about where this could go, it just blows your mind, doesn't it, really?
It does, and because I think we can learn a lot from the past problems, like, how Fuzzy talks about those problems with Steam and how they're fixing those problems and learning from it. We can learn from, the benefit, the good things and bad things that these different communities and cryptos have done. That's why I kind of like to touch up on, the Ethereums and Monero, because no one's doing it 100% right. There's always different ways and things we can learn from and we can improve on. So, and I think if we can group together what they do right and focus on community and integration, I think Whaleshares is going to be great for the long term because, we know how good it is right now because we're involved with it. But if we didn't know about it, how would we? So I think we need to keep integrating in different projects, different websites, different developers by doing the things that I listed and also building our community. Make sure that we empower the people in this community to do what they want to do with their lives and their dreams. Because if you empower people with their dreams, they're more likely to be around for the long term and also be more positive and willing to help other people. So the one thing that comes to mind right away is the whale tokens. You can really use these whale tokens to, in whatever your dream is, you can use it in the pursuit of your dream. That allows you to achieve your dream. And most people who achieve their dream are happy, they're willing to work hard, and they're willing to be around for a long time. So I think that we're giving them Whaleshares basically tools. What's that?
And they're willing to give more as well.
Oh, amen. And I agree. And I think if we're giving everybody the tools to do what they want, and we're just happen to be the one that being the mason. We're the mason giving them the tools. So I think that that's something that I'm excited for Fuzzy. I'm happy that he's learned from the past. He's been involved with cryptocurrency and blockchain technology for a while. And so I think with Walrus, so they've learned from the past and they're applying those lessons so that we can learn from and create a better future for everybody.
Absolutely. Well said. There was one last question actually from Emeka's Gun. Did you see that?
And it's different from other public ledgers, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Yes, it is. Well, because Bitcoin, you can basically see everything out in the public ledger. Whereas Monero, they hide it. You can't see the transactions. You can't see how much you transacted with everybody. Me too, Reds. But that was more of an analogy, a bad analogy maybe, because of the words I used. But yeah, it's not public ledger. Monero is. It's private. That's one of the biggest things they focus on. And I'm willing. It's one thing that I know that Whaleshares is going to be more of a public ledger, which is kind of like the Bitcoin, but yeah, Monero is definitely private. But I would be interested to see if there would be any private parts of the private ledgers in Whaleshares, but I don't think Fuzzy or Walrus have touched on that yet.
Alrighty. Okay, Chief.
Yeah. I used some awesome words, didn't I, in a certain phrase. We got so many dirty minds here.
Tell me about it. I think Chris is the worst. But I wasn't going to say anything, but there we go. She had to, of course.
I thought of it right when I said that. I started laughing in my head. But I mean, hey, that's good. It keeps people laughing.
Absolutely, and it really excites Krista, so that's always a good thing. But right, Chief, anything else you wanted to say to wrap up with? Anything at all?
I appreciate your smooth, silky voice and leading everybody, and I appreciate everybody that's here. I'm glad that we can all learn from each other, and I appreciate that Fuzzy and Walrus come around and explain what they're doing, in the future with Whaleshares and kind of what they learned from the past, because I think if we all help each other and learn from our mistakes and other people's mistakes, communities, we can really build an awesome community here. And we already have, but we can keep growing it and we can keep making it better. And with the Whaleshares platform coming out, we can help people monetize what they do best, and hopefully in the pursuit of their dreams. So that way that everybody can achieve their dreams through this community, and that will really help it grow. Because like we said earlier, people who achieve their dreams will do a lot more and be a lot happier doing it. So why wouldn't we just do that in the first place? And I think that Fuzzy and Walrus are setting it up, and community leaders like yourself are setting it up, and getting people confidence, interacting with people, and making people feel involved. I think it's really great what you're doing, and it's really great what the leaders are doing. So I appreciate everybody, and I'm excited for the future.
Well said, Chief, indeed. And I appreciate you as well coming on this show and sharing with us your insights and your opinions and perspectives and your knowledge. And I think a lot of us appreciate it because we really are learning a lot of stuff. So thank you very much for that, Chief Mapster. Awesome segment there, again, from the Chief. So thank you very much. Right. Okay. I think it's now time to move. I should just say, and I completely forgot at the start, this show is also simultaneously broadcast on YouTube as well. So there is a live stream on YouTube. And I should just mention that to you all. And there's the link if you want to check that out. But we're trying to bring in people from YouTube to Whaleshares, so don't run off now. But there it is. And if you want to reference anything or later on after the show, there is a recording up on YouTube for you of this show. So just mention that. Right, okay, going to move on now. And I'm going to have a chat with an interesting guy. He's a young guy, but he started coming to my Promote Your Post shows a little while back. Relatively new to the Whaleshares community, but he grabbed my attention because he comes from Venezuela. It's a difficult situation over there for a lot of Venezuelans, and he is an extremely intelligent guy, very positive guy, and a nice guy. And he presents these great posts, but I've only got a few minutes to talk to people who present in my Promote Your Post show, and it's also quick, and I can't really get into them as much as I'd like to. So I've invited him onto this show to talk a bit more about the situation and also to talk about his relationship with Whaleshares. And I'm hoping you will enjoy this. Let me just see if he's there. BlackLibertario, are you there?
Here, Freedom. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. And thank you for coming on the show. Now, I'm going to just quickly start, if you wouldn't mind just telling us, just very briefly, how did you find Steemit?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to do something so that I could get some money to go out with my girlfriend, also to help my parents. And I decided to do a YouTube channel. And then a subscriber just messaged me about this kind of website called Steemit. And I went through it. At the beginning, I have to say I didn't see the potential of Steemit. But then, you know, I earned something and I see, well, this could be something. And YouTube required like a big amount of time, you know, editing videos and doing the scripts and all so on. So I decided to go full Steemit, and thanks God, everything has worked out very well.
Yeah, well, you seem to be doing quite well on Steemit. When did you join again?
Yeah, like in March, but I started doing like serious posts and like at the beginning of May.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is it, because you do indeed do a lot of serious posts, but they're very well researched, developed, and presented, your posts. And in the Promote Your Post show, I only have a limited amount of time, so often I only scan them. But you do put a lot of work into these posts. I assume a lot of it may have come from your university studies, because you're at university, is that right?
Yeah, I'm still a young student. In the 4th year of modern languages, I would specialize myself in translations and also interpretation. And most of the things that I write about are things that I've read, things that I'm interested in. And also every time that I do a post is because I want to learn something doing the research, and also to give away my thoughts on the research that I previously.
Okay, all right. Just before we move on to the nature of your post, I want to just talk a little bit about the Venezuelan situation. You were born and have been brought up in Venezuela, is that right?
Yeah, I was born here back in 1997.
Okay. Can you just give us a brief, because I do know a fair bit about what's going on over there, but I still don't know a lot, and I'm sure a lot of us won't know, but it's a tough situation. Just give us a slight history and where we are now in Venezuela, what's going on and what's happened and why.
Well, to understand the history of the things that we are living right now, this struggle, we have to go back to history. I believe everything started back in the 60s when we passed from a dictatorship to a democracy. In fact, we lived better in that dictatorship than what we did in the continuous 40, 50, or 60 years. So the political parties that went through the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was a bipartidarism. It's something like Democrats and Republicans holding the power and not letting any other groups to come to the power. And I think that created like sort of resentment in the population. And well, the situation was getting worse and worse. And that's how Chavez made it to power. When Chavez came to power, he created a division in the society. And he managed throughout his rhetoric, his speech. He was a very intelligent guy, I have to say. He knew how to control people. Also, the way he addresses different issues in his speech was very clever. I have to give that to him. But he created a division in the society, and throughout that division, he could legitimize himself in power. And also, he was very lucky because he could... he had the biggest prices of oil revenues in Venezuelan history, and he could give away some money to the people throughout programs, social programs, like creating, houses and also health, education, but it ended up being nothing because nowadays all those stuff are not well maintained, and also the things were not well invested. They didn't see the future on it. They just wanted to do things as quickly as possible so that they receive votes from people. And well, it ended up very bad, I have to say. And now we're living this struggle where control has been the main use for this system or this program to be.
So are you saying, Libertario, that things are that bad in Venezuela at the moment? You think it was a better society when it was a dictatorship? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because we had Marcos Perez Jimenez. He was a dictatorship. He was a right-wing dictatorship. He punished crime, not as this government. If you see the crime rates here in Venezuela are just skyrocket. I mean, it's something unbelievable. Today I was having a test, and then I came to my house and I saw that in 2 other faculties of the university there was 2 robs, and also they managed to find a criminal, and the people itself, I mean the students, took the law in their own hands, and they almost killed the person who stole the stuff. And also the economy that we have back in the 50s, it had good relationships with the United States, and so the exchange control with the dollar, it was like 2 bolivars for $1, and nowadays we have like 1 trillion bolivars for $1. Is something, I mean, unimaginable.
Wow, gosh, it's quite stark to, and it's quite sobering really when you hear that, to think you would rather live under a dictatorship. But I understand exactly what you're saying and the reasons why you're saying that. I fully understand that. But here we are, 2018. Venezuela did go down this sort of extreme socialist route, didn't it? And with that, it became perhaps a little bit more isolated from the rest of the world. Hence, some economic relations and political relations deteriorated with other countries. What would you like to see Venezuela becoming now, and how is it going to get there?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that we go through this struggle, but I'm also not that optimistic. I believe the education that we received from this government and also the previous government is an education of victimhood and also paternalism. That's why we, in Latin America in general, we do good, and then suddenly we start doing bad. And there's like this cycle that is repeating over time our history. And this is something that we will see probably in Mexico. I believe that López Obrador will manage to make it to the power in Mexico. But what I hope for Venezuela, I mean, everything to work out very well, to reestablish relationships with some countries from Europe and also the United States. In fact, countries who has good relationships with Europe and the United States grows better if they are in Latin America. This is the example of Peru, of Chile, also Mexico. But I have to be realistic also. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Maduro just won another election, won, let's say, between columns. But we have to be realistic. I mean, I believe if there's going to be a serious change, it would be in the long future, in the long term, I would say.
Okay, so nothing significant happening is going to happen in the short term. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. So let's just turn to your posts a minute, because they're clearly about politics and philosophy, and you're also, I mean, it all interacts, these things, but you're also interested in economics as well, and you do a lot of posting about that. Now, we've just touched on, obviously, some of these things in what we've just spoken about, and the situation and climate in your country at the moment. When you put up a Steemit post, let's say about politics or economics, and you relate it to your own country, what is the inspiration behind each of your posts? Does it vary, or are you trying to use Steemit as a means of letting people know what's going on in your country?
Yeah, I think both. I mean, I write also because I have an ideology, so I write about the things that I consider right from my own perspective, and also things that we Venezuelans can learn from other societies. That's what I mostly write about, and also some things that people do not understand very well. Like the first post that I made, that I really made, like, let's say, serious and it was the first post that I presented here. It was about the social democracy. This post, because I mean, worldwide, people tend to believe that social democracies are the perfect system because they mix welfare state and also capitalism. But in fact, it's not the same thing, because it is still socialism. It is still having control over people. And if you take a look of the Sweden society, this is something that I've talked also with Rico. If you take a look of the Sweden society, there has been implemented, let's say, mechanisms of controls who have had, I mean, terrible but horrendous results when it comes to the society. And that's, I don't know if I answered your question, but the idea is to raise awareness and also to give away my thoughts and the things that I research about, and that's it. This is what I mostly write about. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And also, you make some money, hopefully, from the posts, yeah? And that helps you, I hope.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I would say there's a BlackLibertario previous Steemit, and there's a BlackLibertario post Steemit. I mean, Steemit has helped me out a lot, I would say. I'm not going to lie to you. I was robbed twice, and those two times they robbed my cell phones. The first time it was my S4, a mini S4, and then it was an S3 and a tablet, and I was like, oh my God, what I'm going to do now? I mean, I've been having like 4 months without a cell phone, and thanks to Steemit, I could finally buy a cell phone that I like. And also I'm very proud of myself because I know I have worked really well. I'm really hard for this. And also I have come to help my mom, and that's something that is priceless, because she needed. I mean, my dad left us when I was very young, and my mom has always take care of me, and helping my mom has been a blessing for me.
Oh, well, that's awesome to find out. you know, that a platform like Steam, it has helped you out financially and your family and your mum. I think that's amazing. And, you know, this is why we need more platforms like this in the world. And as you know, with the launch of the Whaleshares platform soon, that's going to be another platform in the world. So it's great. And that kind of neatly brings me on to my next point. And my next question, really, how did you come across Whaleshares?
Yeah, the subscriber that introduced me to Steam, he also introduced me to certain communities. At the beginning, I was just into the Spanish community. I mean, I didn't have like the courage to come here and also to talk in English. I don't know why, but I mean, I imagine I was shy to do it. But he also sent me the PAL community. The communities that are the most huge. So I decided to go in. The first time that I came to the show, I was lucky because I could have like an amount of time to present my post. And since then, I have get involved with many people here in the community, with You Freedom, with Praise Krista, also Crystal. I've met incredible people here in this community. Although I've been not active lately because I'm right now in exams and that requires a lot of time. I also Steam it, but those are people that are really incredible. And every time that I come in, I feel like home because it's like a family. You know, it's something that I've never found in other communities such as PAL, such as the Spanish community. This is exactly a family, and that's what I like the most about Welsh.
Nice. Yes. Well said indeed. We've spoke about that a little bit before with Chief Mapster, and I said it as well. It's one of the most striking things, features about the community when I first joined was how friendly it was and how welcoming and inviting it is, which is great. Okay, Black Libertarian. So what is your goal then once you've finished university? And by the way, when do you leave university? When do you finish your course?
Well, I'm supposed to leave it like in 2 years. I mean, this year and the next one. So I get graduated from my major. My goals, well, I want to keep studying. I want to study something that I really love. I mean, I like modern languages, but it's not something that I am passionate about. I want to study something related to economy or politics. And after that, I'm sure that I want to come back to Venezuela. Also, after I finish to study here in Venezuela, I would like to go to Europe, probably Spain for some years. After go to, I don't know, Austria or maybe Germany, so that I improve my German. But surely I will come back to Venezuela and try to do some political activism, not actually to be involved into politics in the sense that I will become a politician, but also to raise awareness throughout, I don't know, my own platform that I will undoubtedly create.
Well, I can completely see all of you, see you doing all of that because, you know, you have this intelligence about you and you have this voice, I think, and I don't just mean the physical voice. You've got this powerful voice, which you're using, and you're using Steemit to explain tons of stuff that's going on in Venezuela, but also about, you know, what you want to do with your life. And clearly you've got a political creature inside you, and I can hear that, you know, and I can see that from your blog. And I think you would make a very positive and powerful contribution to Venezuelan politics if ever you got involved in it. And I can see you doing that, you know, and it might not be as a conventional politician. No, it might not be, but there are other ways you can get involved in politics without taking that conventional route, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, I believe politicians are a disease that it is necessary, although we don't want politicians. But in the sense that I want to raise awareness to people here in Venezuela because they don't know concepts that are very important for all human beings, such as freedom, such as truth, and what those concepts really mean. I believe that freedom is something that is unknown from most Venezuelans. They don't know what freedom is, maybe because of our history and the way we were educated and so on. But those concepts will really improve the conditions, the living condition of Venezuela, and that's the first thing that I will do undoubtedly.
Okay. And so when you finish your course, you want to do a bit of travel, and then you want to maybe return to. We know that freedom exists, but Dan, I'm still questioning it, so I don't know. But yes, I think it does exist. It's I've said it before. It's small, it's precious, and it's vulnerable. But yes, I think it does exist. But anyway, BlackLibertario, when you do finish this course, what do you think your first job will be?
I mean, currently I'm still doing some job. I'm doing legal translations, but I'm young. I mean, I've never worked like seriously in a place. I mean, meeting people like a waitress or something. I believe this is an experience that all people should be involved in. I mean, to do simple, low-income job, and that's something that I want to try also. After that, I want to also create my own translation company. This is something that will profit me also, and I'm definitely right now trying to save some money for it with Steemit. I don't know. I'm very optimistic about my future. I believe if I work hard for those things will be materialized in some way, somehow. But I'm very optimistic.
You need to try saving some, so you have the best start on the new chain.
Could you repeat that? I mean, it wasn't clear.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you also need to save some whale shares, don't you? So you can give yourself the best start and a bigger stake on the new chain.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm doing right now. I mean, I'm trying to save as much as I can because currently I don't need too much money. I mean, I'm earning much more money than what I'm really using, and that's great.
Awesome. Okay, let me just sort of wrap up now with. I want to ask you, just going back to what's happening in Venezuela. Do you think that the only way to change the current order would be a full revolution, or is there another way around it?
I mean, every time that I hear, and I think every Venezuelan hear the word revolution, that scared the hell out of them because we have had so many revolutions that probably we are tired of that. But I would clearly say yes. I mean, it needs to be a revolution in the sense that we have to change all our system. I think our system is corrupted, and there's no separation of powers. The power is focused just in the executive, and this is something that is not well for any society when the executive has so much power to control the whole territory and to pass laws without asking the Senate or the Parliament. And I believe throughout a revolution, some things could change. I'm also optimistic to have a dictatorship like Pérez Jiménez. I mean, I know that's something that is not like favorable for everyone. But if you take the history of Venezuela, you will see that the society itself needs someone that tells them what to do, because that's the way that we were raised. And after that, we can start doing what Chile just did, because they have this dictatorship. And after that dictatorship, concepts were introduced, the concepts of freedoms. And look at Chile right now. I mean, they are almost a developed country throughout their history and the things that they have been doing. And I think, and I will applaud all the measures that were taken in Chile. I think that's a path that Venezuela could follow.
Okay, yeah, well, it's nice to have an example to use, but that will certainly help in terms of guidance. But you know, you had this revolution which gave you this kind of extreme socialist order. Years down the line, you know, you don't like it. Lots of Venezuelans realize it hasn't worked, and you want to return to a kind of more capitalist society, really, don't you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, socialism has been a thing that has attracted so much people. Not only this time, it has also happened in the previous time. But it has been only, and this is empirical evidence, that throughout capitalism and free market, we have developed a much better world where the human condition has been improved, where conditions of health, the life expectancy has been improved, only because we have created a way of create wealth. I wouldn't be so mad if we have kind of social democracies here in Venezuela, that will somehow fit in the ideas of having a paternalistic government that tells them what to do, but also a way to create wealth and also to have everybody happy. And I mean, this is something that I know I don't fully agree on, with, because I have criticized social democracies, but I believe that could be like a middle point where all sides could be happy and benefit from it.
All right, dude. I just want to ask you one last question about your name, because on Steemit you're known as Black Liberal, and your politics and your ethos and philosophies certainly aren't supportive of much liberalism. You're more right of the political spectrum. Why did you decide to call yourself Black Liberal?
Yeah, because I mean, this is something very funny, because when I was selecting my name, I was doing something that I do. I mean, something that I like and something that I am. Something that I am is black because the color of my skin is black. But something that I love would be liberalism. I'm talking about classic liberalism. But then I realized that liberal does not have the same semantic meaning in Europe and in the United States. To be a liberal here in Venezuela is to be a full capitalist, a full right-wing kind of person. But in the United States, to be a liberal, it's basically to be a left-wing kind of guy, a progressive. And then that was very funny because I couldn't change.
You know what? I never knew that. All right, so that makes perfect sense then. Okay, so to be a liberal in Venezuela, you're literally more right-wing, is what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, if you see the speech of all the left wing here, they always say, "Oh, fucking liberalism, fucking neoliberalism, everything is about liberalism," and it's kind of funny because when you go to the United States, it's like liberals are actually socialists here in Venezuela, and that's something very funny.
That is, yeah. You know, I'm glad I asked that question because that's quite an important clarification. So thank you for that. I think a lot of people didn't know that, but interesting stuff. All right, Black Libertario, it's been very nice to talk with you. Is there anything you'd like to say to just lastly you'd like to say, or any post you want to put up?
Oh yes, I also love to talk about education, about my political views and the things that I want to do in the future. I would also hold a position in the government, and that would be education. I believe education with it's something very important, not only for the society, well, only for the society, of course. I think it's the pillar of the society, of the knowledge, and I would be really happy if I made it to a position of being like a minister of education or something like that. I've made posts talking about education. I recently made one, and let me put it here. This is the continuation of the other post that I made, and I also quoted my other post there if you want to read the first one. In the first one, I talked about the situations or the issues that we're facing in our education system. And in this one, I go through the solutions and all the stuff that we are having in our education system and how to solve it. I also compared two education systems, the one from the United States and also the one from Finland, and what makes Finland so successful according to the PISA examinations. The PISA is an international exam that students takes in order to see which country has the best results. The United States has been stuck or stagnated almost 40 years in the same position. And this is something very interesting because when you take a look, and then I know I'm kind of an extremist every time that I talk about freedom, but the key here in this comparison might be that the teachers in Finland have much more freedom to decide what to teach than those teachers in the United States. And that's the key point to understand why Finland has had so much success as with their education than the United States. And that was something that shocked my mind because, I mean, I have always seen that the United States is the best country because of their GDP, because of their social development. But you are stuck when you see these kind of things happening also in a developed country, and how another country could solve those problems throughout freedom. That's something very important for me. And
yeah, I mean, I didn't know that about the Finnish education system, but that's interesting, and I can clearly hear that you're passionate about education. I can easily see you one day as the education minister in Venezuela. I hope you manage to do that.
yeah, I would totally. I mean, I'll be glad to do it. I would make so much. I mean, I believe in myself. I would make so much changes in the education system. I mean, the memorizing kind of system in which you have to go through a book, read whole book, and just speed out all the things that you read in an exam that's worthless. Also, the person that created this kind of exams said that this system of examinations are worthless, and we are still using the same system. At the end
Well, BlackLibertario, just to let you know, we use that. I mean, I did a law and politics degree as my first degree, and we still use that system. It's a system that's used across the world. It's an awful education system that literally relies on your memory. It's just a big test of your memory, and it's an appalling way to educate people.
Yeah, and the worst part of that is that let's say you have to study, you read I mean, you spend the whole days reading and doing the things that you are supposed to memorize, but those things you forgot them. I mean, it's like it's completely worthless in a world where you can have that information in matters of seconds. Literally, you have a cell phone in your pocket. There's no need to memorize because the information is there. Instead of teaching people how to memorize, they don't even teach you how to memorize. They just take it for granted that you know how to memorize, and it is up to you whether you learn how to memorize or not.
That's an interesting point, because when I was doing my law degree, they were saying, yes, you must memorize all this stuff, but they didn't tell me how to memorize it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, it was like, well, this is the subject that we're seeing, try to study everything. And I mean, like, you're not giving a methodology.
Oh, we've lost you, BlackLibertario. Are you there? Dude, are you there? Oh, that's a pity. Well, we were wrapping up anyway, and I do need to move on. Yes, commercial break. Well, we are. We're going to have a bit of fun now, and a bit of relaxation and some musical entertainment with Savo. But let me just see if I can say goodbye to BlackLibertario. BlackLibertario, are you there? Oh, you flashed. Oh, you've gone. Hang on. BlackLibertario, can you hear me?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I didn't know what happened. I listened to you, everything that you said, but I couldn't, I don't know.
All right. Well, anyway, I was just saying we've got to wrap up and move on. But it has been a great chat. But did you want to just say something lastly?
Yeah, thank you, Freedom, for having me. I mean, it has been interesting to have more than 3 minutes to give away all my thoughts. Thank you.
Yes, a bit more time this time, but no, it's been good talking to you, BlackLibertario. Thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been a really nice, interesting chat. So thank you very much for that, and I wish you well with everything. And I shall be bumping into you again soon, I'm sure. So there we go, guys. That wraps up my In Conversation With segment this week with the awesome BlackLibertario. So thank you very much for that. Right, I am now going to hand over to Savo for a nice musical interlude. Savo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Whoop, whoop. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. And you?
Very well. The floor is yours.
Yeah, it was an interesting fade out there, Black, I must say.
Thank you, Savo. I mean, I really appreciate you, man. I mean, you have supported me since the beginning, and that's something that I will always be grateful for.
Yeah, you deserve it. I mean, you write posts like no one else, and you're an interesting guy. Really cool.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Also, your music is just priceless. I mean, keep on doing that work.
I'll do my best, thanks. But for today, I have 2 artists scheduled in, actually. One is Ivan Adman, and the other one is Azon Intrik, which I see is not here. That's a pity. But we have Ivan, and Ivan is a great guy, a good friend of mine, and what makes him special is his diversity, I think. When he came to the platform, he almost immediately got my eye with his performances with the open mic, actually. But I later learned that he can do everything, and that's something I want to do as well, or I try to do. So I want to call him in here, Ivan.
Hey, so
how are you?
I'm good. I'm a little bit sleepy, but I'm good. Thank you for kind words.
Yeah, thank you, by the way, for staying up this late. Because we live in the same time zone, and it's not for everybody to stay up late like this. But tell us a little bit about who you are as an artist and how you came to the blockchain. How it happened.
Okay, I'm from Croatia, from Split. Is the name of the city, Split. And I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I produce things in my home. For now, I never did live shows yet. I'm just, it's not a hobby, but it's not it's more than a hobby, but it's just not per se professional. So, I as you said, I do a lot of things. I like to play music and create music across all genres and subgenres. And what else? I came to the blockchain. To Steemit is the first place where I heard about blockchain. I came in December, but I wasn't so active until now, 2 months ago, actually. As you said, I did some open mics, some beat battle challenge that Chief Master is holding. I joined your group on the Semi Music Alliance, met a lot of great artists. It's an amazing community, and recently started to do some collaborations, which I really love to do, and I will keep on doing. It's one of a kind place, just like parallel to Steemit Discord, like having so much like-minded people, especially on about music, as I am a musician. So that about is about me.
What you really love is actually the Celtic acoustic sounds, right? Because I can remember I was making a song, and I had the sound in it, the saxophone, which you liked a lot, but I made an edit on it, and I added some cheap sounding other saxophone to it, and you were really like, that's so cheap, so you were really specialized in let's hear it. Shall we listen to a song of you first then?
Of Ivan Atman.
Ivan Atman.
You want me to choose, or
I'll put on Moonlight Kingdom.
Oh yeah, cool.
Okay,
thank you, man.
Moonlight Kingdom by Ivan Atman.
Thank you.
Let's chill away. All around we have trouble. This time I decided to go. To surrender to the pool. Walk around on my own vibes. I have what I feel. Here are those who decided. Every word. Some of us get here so days, but it's fine. All the maps with to God. I see and neighbors join life in a while. I am questioning instead I do. It was seen that all I had gained of all, never fall down below. Here I almost decided to say it was unseen. There are nowhere upon the way, but it's our wish to see. Oh, my kingdom will be there, as it is ours.
Little bit abrupt ending, I must say. But yeah, Ivan Atman with Moonlight Kingdom. So Ivan, yeah, you're from Croatia, and everybody knows Croatia is very well known about.
Can I just say a minute? That was a gorgeous song. I'm sorry that Discord didn't do justice to it. We need to sort out the sound a bit better next time. But that sounded like a really gorgeous song, and I would like to hear that. So with proper sound. So Ivan or Savo, can you get me or put a link up in the chat?
Yeah,
Sure.
I will get you. So you have SoundCloud. Yeah, do you have it?
I have your link here, if it's right. The Steam link. That's Ivan Atman. Yeah, but yeah, he's a great artist. You know, maybe one of the best I know on the platform. I don't want to step on somebody's feet, but for me it is, and you know it as well. But
Thank you, man.
what you are
I
doing
would
this summer?
appreciate it. What? Yeah, this summer. Yeah, I'm co-organizing Liberty Festival in Croatia, which is a new festival. It's a small scale, but it could reach 1,000 people. I don't know.
But it's about blockchain, right?
Yeah, it's about blockchain, and we are hosting people with, who have projects on blockchain to give lectures. And we are also, we invited the foundation. They are good guys from Steemit, and Suzanne Tartowski from the Bit Nation, and a couple more people that I cannot remember right now, but it's going to be like 10 to 15 speakers, and also we're going to have a Steemit meetup and like a Steam Music Alliance meetup as well. Like there's going to be musicians performing from Steemit, like it's going to be some of you heard some of them. Like I think Divine is also going to come, and Jeff and Savo is going to come. And who was that? Maybe Ace on Intrigue. I don't know. He said maybe, and Melavi, and but anyways, it's going to be really nice. Like festival last year was 400 people on the. There was a party scene. There's going to be some trance parties, and where there's more people, but there is going to be little conferences about the blockchain and to introduce it to the people that are not introduced into it, and some cool people from the Steemit and blockchain presenting their ideas and the projects.
So actually, you were already hosting the festival, but now you have added a blockchain a segment to it.
Huh?
Yeah, like you said that you were already hosting the festival, like last year with 400 people.
Yeah,
But now, was it
not
last
there.
year already with blockchain?
No, last year it was partially. It was more about, and it still is, but it was more about alternative energies, alternative energy, and about permaculture and literally anything connected to the better well-being, for daily living. Actually, grandnephew of Nikola Tesla. I mean, everybody knows Nikola Tesla. He's part of the festival, and he has Tesla.
But not like a mummy is there,
No, I mean he's grandnephew. He's a grandnephew of Nikola Tesla.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So he's also an inventor. He's not famous so much or anything, but he invented this cascade hydro plant, which is really interesting, and it's not like high tech. It's just really passive energy gathering on the river sides, and he's also part of that. So yeah.
So basically, the team is more from a spiritual perspective at the festival.
Last year, but this year is going to be, primarily about blockchain. Yeah, but specifically for blockchain, and there's going to be some music, and still some things about permaculture and alternative energy presented. They're going to present new Tesla houses, the mobile houses, which are real cheap and mobile, and they're going to present ideas about tokenization of land for agriculture and many interesting stuff. Yeah.
That's interesting indeed. I see a request from Freedom here. He wants to hear another song of yours. Shall we play it?
Yeah. Go.
Okay, so we play Yuseku Mali. It sounds like Swahili. I know you want to learn that language. So
it's not. This is not Swahili. This is Fulani. It means thank you, Mali.
Okay. So here is Yuseku Mali from Ivan Atman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fade out to the next song already. But yeah, really, really nice. I hope people can understand why I see you as one of the greater artists, on the platform. It's really amazing. Wondering what Freedom thinks of it this time.
This is really bizarre because I was expecting more of like the first style of song, and then I got something completely different. So it's interesting stuff. But if I had to choose between the two, I prefer the first song, that style more. I love that. I thought that was gorgeous.
Thank you, man.
Moonlight Kingdom. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Ivan, I want to thank you. I really want to thank you. We are great fans, and I really look forward to come to the festival and meet you.
Yeah, put a link up to this festival if you've got one. Others might be interested.
Yeah, I'm doing a promo video, and it's just it's not ready yet, but you can see info. I'll drop it in. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Cool, thanks. So yeah, we have another artist who just joined. It's Azen Intrigue, and he also has something very special because he is a touring artist who is in Europe, if I'm not wrong. And not only that, he also just released a movie on a blockchain. So I want to invite him in the chat if he is here. I saw him. Yeah, he is here. Azen. Do you have audio?
He's not server muted, so if there's any issues, it's his end. Yeah, I've just messaged him. I don't know if he's there though.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't hear it. I don't know. But yeah, yes, indeed, Poster Girl, which is a movie he created, and it's a movie about a drug addict.
Do you know what? When I read the summary for your segment of this show, I was really looking forward to Azen Intrigue, if I pronounced that right, because like you say, he's got this music side to him, but he's also been involved in getting a film out there on the blockchain. And I'm really hoping he's still going to be able to come and talk to us about that, because as you know, Savo, my main passion is TV and film script writing. But at the moment, the blockchain kind of offers only limited options for TV and film. It's great for musicians, but for script writers like me, it's a bit more complex. But I was really hoping to pick his brains about all of this, but he doesn't seem to be there. Can you DM him or something?
Yeah, he DM'd me back that he said, "Oh shit," because he was a little bit late. But yeah, I don't know. Dookie, do you know? Dookie and Azen are good friends, so I don't know. Maybe he's typing, so maybe he can explain. But he was on the show. He had a show. He has a show on SMA Radio, and there he presented it with his co-worker, who is actually the subject in the story, and it's looked, and it's really really promising.
Yeah, it's based on a true events, isn't it?
Yeah, and really professional as well. And
well, I'll tell you what. While we're trying to get him, have you got a song of his you can play?
Yeah, I'll play it. So here is Pushface from Azen Intrigue.
Is that the music?
Yeah, it's from the music.
All right, Sivo, let's have a chat with Asom, shall we? Sivo?
I hope he can talk.
Hey.
Hey, there you are. Yeah, we hear you. So, what were you doing, man? You were packing.
Yeah. This is our annual trip to Skatopia, which is I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. It's like a anarchist commune that's a 88-acre skate park up in the mountains.
So you're going to skate?
Well, I'm gonna go have fun. I don't really skate, but I'm gonna go blow some cars up and smash some things and set off some fireworks.
Yeah, like the intro of your song here, where everybody was thinking my laptop was failing or something. Yeah, it could be. You never know. You never know.
Cool.
But, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're an artist. You're doing very well as an artist and as a filmmaker, but we come to that then later. Tell us a little bit about yourself as an artist.
Well, yeah, I've been making music for probably about I don't know, all my life kind of thing. Got into synthesizers and drum machines when I was in my teens, and kind of stuck at that until I became a DJ during the rave era, and the first rave era. It's still going, raves are still kicking, but yeah, did that for a while, ran a recording studio, just sort of always been in music and the music business.
Now you're touring in Europe. You're going to Europe. this summer?
Yes, that's the current goal. We're still raising money to make sure we can make that possible. But so far, it looks like in terms of being able to play shows out in Europe, that's already set. And Dookie Brownflow and I have been working really hard on that.
Yeah, I actually hope as well you will fix it, because then you're also going to play on the festival Ivan is organizing, right?
Yeah, that's the goal. Essentially, like that's what we really want to make sure we make, so we can land at that, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Ivan. I don't know how do I.
Yeah, Ivan.
Oh yeah, Ivan. Okay, he's so cool. Every time I hear him in interviews and hear his music and stuff, so I'd really love to be part of that.
The bass nectar from Hawaii, I see here in the comments. That's
nice.
very good compliment, right? But yeah, I hope you're close. Are you close?
Oh yeah. I actually, I'm feeling pretty confident that this is going to happen.
Okay, man. Else, if you're not going to make it, just let me know.
Right. It's going to happen. I just don't know exactly when, we kind of are like we want to do this no matter what sort of situation. And we're all committed to spending our own money to make it.
I hope you will make it happen, because it will be awesome, man. And we can meet each other and stuff, it's really cool. We know each other for some while now already, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
Really cool. So yeah, next thing actually we want to talk with you about is your movie you announced actually, or you released on Monday.
Yeah, so we just released Poster Girl, which is it's the team that I work with. It's our latest film that we finished up. Took us about 5 years to make, and what's really cool is like when we I mentioned this on a previous show, but when we first started this film, Steam wasn't even in existence. And for us to be able to work on that project, for it to take so long, and then find this platform, we wouldn't even have been able to conceive to do what we're doing with this. But the whole, only like a Steam only 7-day thing, it's just new. And we're so excited to be doing that. So basically, like I just said, through this quality measure